U.S. says meaningful progress made as Ukraine talks enter second day. U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff said talks between Ukraine and Russia had brought about meaningful progress to end the war, as both sides prepared for a second day of negotiations in Geneva on Wednesday. However, hopes of a breakthrough remain low, with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky saying it was not fair that U.S. President Donald Trump keeps asking his country to compromise, adding that peace wouldn't be achieved if victory is handed to Russia. U.S. President Donald Trump has recently suggested it is up to Ukraine to ensure talks in Switzerland are successful, without mentioning Russia. The Kremlin has not wavered from its maximalist demands for Ukrainian territory. President Trump's success in bringing both sides of this war together has brought about meaningful progress, and we are proud to work under his leadership to stop the killing in this terrible conflict, Witkoff wrote on X after the first day of talks. Zelensky has repeatedly said his country is being asked to make disproportionate compromises compared to Russia. Russia occupies roughly 20% of Ukraine, including large parts of the eastern Donbas region. The Kremlin wants Ukraine to hand over the rest of the region, which Ukraine has ruled out. Ukraine says robust security guarantees from the West, including the U.S., must come before any settlement with Russia can be agreed. Zelensky told the Axios website on Tuesday it was not fair that Trump kept calling on Ukraine to broker a deal, adding, "I hope it is just his tactics and not the decision." In a statement on social media on Tuesday evening, top Ukrainian negotiator Umerov said the first day of talks focused on practical issues and the mechanics of possible solutions. In a video address shortly afterwards, Zelensky said Ukraine was ready to refrain from carrying out strikes, as proposed by the U.S. to both Kyiv and Moscow. "We don't need war," he said, stressing that Ukrainians were defending our state, our independence. "We are also ready to quickly move towards a worthy agreement to end the war. The question is only for the Russians, what do they want?" The talks are the third round of trilateral negotiations. Russia's state news agency RIA quoted a source saying that Tuesday's negotiations, which lasted 6 hours, had been tense and took place in different bilateral and trilateral formats. The talks are being mediated by Witkoff and Jared Kushner, the U.S. president's son-in-law. On the Russian side, President Vladimir Putin's aide Vladimir Medinsky is the top negotiator. The negotiations are being held a week before the 4th anniversary of Moscow's full-scale invasion of Ukraine. The Russian Defense Ministry said 43 Ukrainian drones were shot down over several Russian regions and Crimea overnight into Wednesday. Ukraine's Air Force said Russia had launched 126 attack drones at Ukraine overnight, adding preliminary data suggested 100 had been shot down before they reached their target. U.S. Department of State says it supports the UK's decision to proceed with its agreement with Mauritius concerning the Chagos archipelago. Delcy Rodriguez knows it's in America's interests for her to be a success. The network denies it stopped the interview with a Texas Democrat from airing but warned it could run afoul of the U.S. broadcast media watchdog. India has signed a string of trade deals recently, but export growth will require deeper reforms, say experts. McLaughlin has vigorously promoted and defended Trump's deportation push across social media and in interviews. Copyright 2026 BBC. The BBC is not responsible for the content of external sites. Read about our approach to external linking. You have reached the end of our in-depth report. For more deep dives into global affairs and breaking news updates, please subscribe to Neuron News Global and enable all notifications. Stay informed, stay ahead. See you in the next broadcast.